Good morning. This is the Masterpiece You Are series. I'm Erica Elliott, and I'm here today with Natasha Jones, licensed drug and alcohol counselor, and Crypto, her sweet puppy. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the HIT retreat, Healing in Truth retreat. And so, tell me a little bit about yourself, Natasha, and what led you to want to be involved with the HIT retreat.
Hi, I'm Natasha Jones and I'm an LADC. And so it is so cool to be here. I first have to say thank you, Erica, for being patient and just being such a good leader. Yeah. What drew me in here is one of our leaders, Lynda, had helped me do some inner work healing. And then she had just brought to my attention that the work that I do, we should talk about it more. The animals are so healing, and we have to have a connection with them first. And so they've helped me heal. And then I work with a lot of families just to help use animals for healing as well.
I love that so much. That's beautiful. And so tell me a little bit about what led you to start using animals. You said when you got out in the field, like in 2009, I saw. And so what made you start using animals?
Well, I'm actually in recovery myself. And so
Okay.
I've always been drawn to healing and nature and
Yeah,
connection.
I love it.
Whenever I didn't feel like I could connect with people,
Yes.
but I didn't learn till later that that just had to do with trauma and needing to
Yes.
be healed. But I help people feel safe, and then I can actually refer them like to Lynda or to you to do more deeper healing work. But sometimes they don't even want to talk to anyone at all. They've lost all
Sure.
trust. And so after years of just doing this, I just started being super silly and I
Yeah.
would have, and then whatever the animals do or what mistakes I made a lot, by the way, and on this journey, but they're all lessons of learning. And it's brought,
Yeah.
humor has brought so much with the animals. Like right now, he's looking at a fly and he's like, what's going on? You want that?
I
So like I'm
love
doing
it.
now, I will
Yeah.
talk to the animals like they're real
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
in sessions, and that just gets people to be like, wait, you're talking to an animal? That's weird. Like, are you weird? And I'm like, yeah, weird, but we are unique and we have gifts. And so it starts
Yes.
this journey of healing.
I love that. That's so beautiful. And, it's so true. Animals can really ground us. There's so many great tools that we can use animals. We know in the last maybe probably at least 10 years, animal therapy has really gotten emotional support animals have really gotten huge for helping individuals and the research behind it and how much it really helps people to regulate their emotions and to ground. I know working with lots of people who've had emotional support animals, how much it can just really give them a piece of having that animal right there and helping them sync with the animal's heartbeat and those kinds of things. So I really love that you do that. But you don't just use dogs. What other kind of animals do you use?
Let me go get one little one. Can I?
Okay,
Just
yeah,
right
absolutely.
here. Like it's right
Absolutely. Yeah.
here.
Oh,
Okay.
how cute.
So this is Tiger. And
Oh,
this is really neat because as I start learning about animals, you can always keep on learning and do research.
yeah.
So Tiger is antisocial. And so when I say that, just in general, I'm like, hey, this is Tiger. He's antisocial. He doesn't like people. They're like, well, I like Tiger because I don't like people. And
Yeah,
so
that's so
sometimes
great.
use the chinchillas to talk about just not fitting in because they
Yeah.
want to be left alone. And then I'm like, and they party at night. And so they're sleeping, they sleep all day.
Oh,
So
wow.
clients are identifying with some of the animal behaviors as just a stepping stone, just to even build the connection. So even having animals or nature present is just
Mhm.
naturally grounding, I've noticed,
Yes.
And then there's so much research to back it up. So,
I love that so much. And I had no idea that they were antisocial. And yeah, and then the being up all night, you can relate to individuals who have difficulties with neurodivergent who are, sleep, more during the day and they like to be up more at night and those kinds of things and struggle sometimes to fit in with the culture who says, oh, you got to be up at, early in the morning and this is how work works, even though, we do have shift work and things like that now that really help. But when you're talking about people with relationships, if you end up marrying somebody and they're an opposite, and then you have to figure out how do we connect with those kinds of things. And so learning how to talk about those and be more comfortable that even in the animal world, it's not like they all sleep at night.
So Tiger's listening to you. He's like trying to
Hi,
actively
sweetie.
listen. And that's the cool thing too, is their personality and the things they do.
Hmm.
It'll just be so what's meant to be in the session. Find
Yeah.
drawn to different animals. And so I'm going to have a couple at this retreat. I was
Yay.
just deciding which exact ones to take because I use different ones for different seasons. And so it'll be a surprise. I know for
That's
sure Tiger's
awesome.
going to be there and Crypto, but I might have a surprise random
Yay.
one just for fun.
Awesome.
Sometimes even just something, just a random animal, they're like, why is this animal here? It brings healing because a lot of people aren't even in one day at a time. They're not
Yeah.
even in the actual moment right now. So right now we're in this moment, but our mind could be making breakfast. Like I gotta have to get this done for my husband, and or I gotta get
Yeah.
this email sent, and so we're not present. But bringing in animals, that's just something they've never seen before, causes them to be, oh, hey, like I'm in
Yay.
this moment right now all of a sudden.
Yeah, I love that so much. And so you also wrote a book, a children's
Well,
book.
so I'm in the process of getting it published.
Oh, okay, yay. Well, tell me a
So
little bit about it.
it's actually called Tanner Has a Big Idea. And
Uh-huh.
so the idea came from just I was working with a lot of teenagers and kids, and
Yeah.
they would have these amazing ideas, but then when they would tell someone about it, their dreams, they'd be like, oh, that's stupid. And then they'd be like, oh, yeah, it is stupid. So Tanner was a turtle who said that. And then whenever he went to school, he's like, I got a big idea. He shrunk back into his shell, and then he
Mm.
didn't want to get out of bed. And so his
Ah.
mom finds a team of people in recovery, which ends up being me, but I
Uh-huh.
made as a dog.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
I
yeah.
team of animals that get them where they need to go and different lessons. So the chinchillas are in the book, but I haven't printed it yet. It's just in the works.
Yay, I love it so much. That's awesome and that's so true. And I think that relates even to adults. Like lots of adults will have ideas, but I even have dealt with imposter syndrome and, in certain areas I felt much more capable than other areas. And then sometimes even with those areas thinking, well, maybe it's, maybe there's some things that aren't right with it though, and maybe people won't like it or different things like that. And so that imposter syndrome is so real and so debilitating in adults just as much as kids.
So it's amazing you bring that up because that was one of the challenges I had to work with
Hmm.
is my ideas about using animals. There was so much opposition. So I've been allowed to bring animals in school, and there's so many rules and different things you have to follow.
Yes.
But some schools and some of our districts are good with it, and some
Yeah.
aren't. But
Yeah.
it's just one of those things where it's evolving, and we're
Hmm.
seeing more animals in more schools and more places. And so
Wow.
I think we're going to start to see a lot more of it. But one of the challenges that I faced was being called crazy because I talk
Oh,
to animals. And so
yeah,
that
yeah.
is something that I had to overcome. And then my kids, they're my
Mhm.
little warrior areas, they overcame it because
Yeah.
it became this thing. Well, your mom works with these animals. Like, that's weird. She has ducks, and I have a mobile bus. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
all that pain and all that healing just led
Mhm.
to passion. And then when other clients, like little kids who have
Yeah.
ADHD were dreaming, they were like, I want to do this. And they would see my bus and they're like, I think I could do that. You have animals on a bus. And I'm like, I absolutely do. Or
Yeah.
multiple. And so if you take it one step at a time, then you can dream big. Like the sky's the limit.
Yes. Yes. And I love that because not everyone heals the same way, and being able to have a different modality, and kids truly relate so much more with animals too, but adults too. I mean, there's tons of research with using animal therapy in geriatric homes.
Yes. So I wanted to take some of the animals to the VA. That's
Uh-huh.
in the works too, just to cheer up our veterans for fighting
Yeah.
for us. Because, a lot of people, they just need to smile and be grounded for a moment, you
Yeah.
know? And then once they do that, they might say, oh, you're a therapist? Like, I
Uh-huh.
thought about giving therapy a try. And then I could refer them to support and like maybe
Yeah.
EMDR where that was something that they didn't get to experience.
Yeah.
So these guys are the same age. And
Oh,
so,
really?
so technically, because he's a baby and he's a baby. And so we're working on being friends to kind
Oh,
of,
that's so cute.
but they're such opposite
You
personalities.
can
And
tell.
so antisocial,
Uh-huh.
energetic, loves people, but look. And so it's like
Yeah.
I'm doing counseling with the animals. And
Yeah.
this is a mama dog I have that
Uh-huh.
nurse kittens.
I love it.
Isn't it
Oh
sweet?
my gosh. What?
Just being silly and showing you all this stuff. It's like, oh, it's the crazy animal lady.
No,
But
I
then
love it.
secretly they're like, hey, will you help me? Because I think I can
Yes.
trust you because of the vulnerability of it.
Yes.
I think that's
Yes.
something you're going to talk about, or one of our speakers is,
Yeah.
right? At the
Yeah,
retreat.
exactly. Yeah. Well, and all of the whole retreat is about vulnerability, that healing in truth is the vulnerability to be able to speak about our truth, right? To share hard things that there's not always the safe place to share that in. And, I think it's interesting because through the years, I've been doing this for over 30 years, and the difference in where counseling is today and where it used to be, used to, like you said, if you had told people you talk to animals, there was a movie about that, Dr. Doolittle, which was so cute, right? And it was great. I love it. But even as a kid, I used to talk to my animals like they were my safe place to talk. My horse and my cat. I mean, you have this. If you've gone through trauma, a lot of times that may be the only source that you have to talk to. And that's that felt like that was a way that even though I learned to talk to God, but it was like the animals were right there present. That feeling of and another blood flowing, heart beating animal. And that just gave you unconditional love, right? So, but yeah, used to, we would say so that was crazy. So you might not tell everybody that. But the other side of that too is people used to say, oh, well, if you say you're hearing voices, then, they're going to lock you up. Well, truthfully, everyone hears voices. It may not be audible, it may be more like thoughts that come in our brain, but everyone hears or notices or senses or visualizes different thoughts. And now we know it's just different for different people how it appears, and teaching people how to take those thoughts captive, and which ones serve me well and which ones don't, right? And so I
Right.
think it's just amazing what we're learning today and all the research that's out there, and for using all these different modalities to help people open up and heal.
Absolutely, yes. And so, and one thing I want to say is we're all unique and different and made for a purpose. God made us
Yes.
all unique and different. And if we could
Yes.
really wrap our mind around that and embrace our differences rather than use them
Yes.
to separate, more like
Yes.
integrate. And the
Yes.
animals have that because every animal is different. And so
Yes.
just bringing that awareness and education too is like something I'm really passionate about and excited about. And I've been doing a lot of experiments
Hmm.
with crypto lately,
Uh-huh.
and so I can't wait to do a couple of those at the retreat. And so
Yay.
a couple fun things just to see how we react and just see the love that he can give. He's just like a little ball of love.
He is. He's so soft and loving. Oh, he's so sweet too. But yes, he is hyper too. So he's like ready
Oh,
to
yeah.
go. Let me go to
So
this
he's
one. Let me go. So
around
funny.
and doing just dancing a little bit, but you know what? That's what we need to do every once in a while.
Well, we all do that. We need play. Play is so important and healthy in life. And sometimes it's animals that bring us back to that, to remembering that's when we're in the most, beautiful place and space of shifting and changing our life. That, you know, um, trauma happens to us, it's not who we are.
Yeah,
When a person has a diagnosis of PTSD or different things, I say, you are not PTSD, you're not bipolar, you have those things. You then learn to have tools to be in a better place to work around those things, right? You're not addictions, you had addictions. It's giving yourself permission to, what identity do I want to relate to? And the truth is my identity is not that particular thing. That's just a part of me. That's just one piece of who I am. And when we go into who do I want to be, what identity do I want to take on, and then moving towards that, then this can be that place where, as we begin to heal, we realize that some of the parts of that we didn't like were chapters in our life, right? And they're not who we are. And like yesterday, I was even thinking about how I have a very difficult time when people say, well, there's a reason for everything. I don't believe that there's a reason for everything. I completely disagree with that. I think that we can make meaning out of something, and we can learn from something, and we can heal and overcome from something. But I don't think that abuse happens for a reason for you to overcome something. I don't think bad things happen to you for a reason so that you can go show the world how to overcome this. I don't agree with that. I think that we have choices in that we can identify with the harm that was done to us, to the trauma that was done to us, or we can identify with, that's something that happened to me. It's not my fault. It's not that God said, oh, this needed to happen to you so you could be a good counselor, or you could be a good person in life, or you could help others. No, I don't believe that. I believe that those things happened, and we can make meaning out of it in a way where we can move forward and we can help other persons. But it's not because we caused those things to happen. What do you think about those things?
so I really believe life is like there's experiences, and there's experiences one day at a time.
Yeah.
And we're always learning and growing. And so
Hmm.
no matter what experience we have, we can learn from it. But
Yeah.
we don't have to know the why anymore. So
Yes.
my process is more like we're going to talk about it one time, like a doggy door, and
Hmm.
we're going to process it, and then we're going to let it go. And so
Yes.
that's what I do. But then if it's more deeper, then I would send them to do EMDR, because
Yeah.
then there are so many great things about that. I know I keep saying
Yeah.
it, but
Yeah.
when it comes to what you said, for sure, I would say that's part of where the struggle is and the pain is,
Mhm.
and the healing, is needed for that type of thinking, because that's
Yes.
almost black and white thinking. And
Mhm.
I find that whenever it's a general statement of like, this is because of this, there are
Mhm.
so many factors that are involved, that we
Yes.
take time to almost just like let soak in, because
Yes.
it's not our fault, but there are
That's
moments where it could be our fault, but are we open to
mhm.
looking at that yet? When we've
Sure.
had trauma, we can't even look at anything yet because we have so much pain. And
Yes.
so it's hard for people to even hear anything unless they have just a safe place and food. And since I'm an addiction counselor, we can't even do any talking and anything until we get basic needs met. And so
Yes.
I'm more of like basic needs. We're not taking anything serious yet. Like
Mhm.
we're looking at animals. Have we even smiled ever? Like how long has it been
Yeah.
since we smiled? Like life is so hard. Can we even smile or forget for a moment?
Yeah.
Because it's a reoccurring tape that's playing over
Yes.
and over, and it's a habit. And it's
Mhm.
been in that habit of playing for 40 years, maybe because it was mom's tape that played in her head that said, hey, this
Yeah.
is what I learned when I was growing up. But that tape needs to be stopped. But the only way to stop something abruptly is almost like you have to create a distraction, but then
Mhm.
you also have to give them space to choose healing, you know?
Yes.
And so I like
Absolutely.
to create the spaces where they say, I think I might want to try that again. Because what I'm finding now that we're in the Bible Belt is we have a lot of religious trauma. And
Yeah.
so counseling can also be like going to a new church or something where
Yeah.
there's different traumas that people have had. A lot of times when people think of trauma, they think of sexual abuse too. But
Mhm.
I don't even focus on so much of the details. It's just this has happened. What can I learn and how can I
Yeah.
grow? And if they
Yeah.
want to get deeper into the details, then it's always their choice. But I don't try, I like
Yeah.
just unfolds kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And that's really what healing in truth is about, right? It's unfolding the journey like an onion. We say in the counseling world is like it's all like an onion. You take off layers at a time. And at the same time, we want to make sure that we're creating the life we want, not just only living through the trauma. And I think that is the one of the biggest keys that we've learned in the brain set over the last 20 years is really getting that shift from moving, saying yes, this did happen, and sometimes we have to work through it because there's still triggers that happen, and that's okay. But what are we also doing to create the life we want now? And that
Absolutely.
we have the power to do. And as we do that, then this becomes more of the focus than what happened to us. And that becomes more of the story of, here's now my healing and where I've come from today and moving out of to who I want to be.
Absolutely. And I love whenever you get in a group of people, which
Mhm.
is about what we're going to do. Like
Yeah.
they're all have been on that journey, and then they're just so willing to just make it safe for everyone else to say, hey,
Yeah.
you know what? Like we accept you where you are
Yeah.
right now. You don't actually even have to do anything.
That's
Um,
right.
we just accept you. We're so glad you're here. And hey, do you
Yes.
want to feed a chinchilla? Like
Yeah.
just something
Yeah.
silly, or do you want to touch one? They're really soft.
Yeah.
Hey, hey,
Yeah.
them, that's so sad. And then they're like, oh, that is so sad, and then just silly.
Yeah, yeah, and so fun. Yeah, and humor and laughter, as we talked about earlier, one of the things that we know when a person's been in trauma long enough is all those basic instincts of trust shut down. The trust
Yeah,
of being able to play, the having fun, letting our guard down, trusting someone again, that play all goes away. Even in relationships, it's so interesting. There is lots of research on attachment, and Dan Siegel has a lot on attachment work, Dr. Stan Tatkin, even Gottman on when a relationship has gotten into a place where you're noticing more of the trauma and struggles in the relationship, then it's gone to what we call negative focus. And when that negative focus is there, it's hard to even be playful for the couple because they're so stuck in this dynamic of patterns of hypervigilance. And the truth is, it may have been something that happened multiple times 10 years ago, but they've decided to start working on it. And when they start working on it and come to a place of healing, then they're able to start moving back into play again and fun and flirting and conversations and feeling more at peace. And so all of us can get in that place and space. It does not matter who you are. If the focus is more on trauma, and what's happened in our life and hypervigilance, we will miss out on these opportunities of fun and playfulness and joy that can be in our life. And so, as we go through this retreat, one of the things that we're doing is bringing in the fun and playfulness and how to do that, how to move from one and shift from one area to the other, not in condemnation about ourselves, not in condemnation that, gosh, yeah, people probably think I should just get over it. No, that's not what we're talking about. Sometimes you've got to work through these things at a really deep level. But what we're talking about is learning to be able to say, I can have this and this in my life. I can work on this and still have joy and fun and playfulness, and that feels better.
Yes, so that is actually one of my group roles because I've been doing groups with all ages. And so
Yay.
it's have fun, be kind, and stick together. And so that comes
Yes.
from Dr. Karen Purvis, where
Hmm.
she does a lot of healing. And so that's one of just the more that we can educate people and keep it simple. There's a lot we know now about trauma, and it is real. And so the stigma behind the shame that it takes to get help, like we're breaking through that, you know?
Yes.
And that's where
Yes.
I feel like all of us ladies came together and wow, like God brought us all together. And then I just can't wait to see what's going to happen through all
Yeah.
the creation. And we might have, we're supposed to be having painting there. Who knows what we're going to do?
Yeah, so cool. Yeah, it's going to be so wonderful. So, if you're out there and you're listening to this, first off, if you can't go, we understand. And I hope that there's been something on here that's helped you. Know that we're going to be doing more retreats about around the quarterly area. And so, you might want to come to another one that we have if you can't come to this one. But also, if you're out there and listening, I just want you to remember that you're loved, you're enough, you're worthy, and God has so many good plans for your life. And so, Natasha, with that, will you just share how people can connect with you and any last words that you have?
Yes, you can connect with me through text is the best way. I know that's not normally what you hear, but it's 405-802-5357 to set
Okay.
up an appointment or even a consultation. And
Mhm.
then you're also able to email me if you want at natasha.r.improvinglives@gmail.com. And right now, I'm just taking time to just work on what's right in front of me. And so, if you need more information, just do one of those two, and I'll try to get you connected.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And for anybody out here listening, just remember again, you're not alone. And if you feel like I just don't know where to even start, I know you guys aren't in my area. How can I get started? Feel free to reach out to us. Also, take some time to like and subscribe and let us know if there's questions or comments or thoughts. We would love to help in any way, shape, or form. Be blessed and be a blessing. Until next time.
Bye.